go ahead and get started. Thank you all so much for joining our town hall meeting for October. We are so pleased to be with you. I wanted to share some quick save the date information. Reminder, no school on Friday or Monday, so no drop off. You get to stay home. That's exciting. Don't forget. Wanted to also share with you all that our Frisco Fast Packs food drive is still ongoing, so we encourage you to, of course, continue bringing those food donations. Also wanted to share that our Bible studies are active and moving along, so those are on Thursdays. We'd love for you to join. Homecoming is coming up here soon. Lots of information coming up on that front throughout this presentation tonight. And then also our admissions team is hosting LCA Zoom at noon next week. You'll hear more about that here in just a moment as well. Prayer walk is next Wednesday at 8:45 a.m. We encourage you to join our PTF prayer walk group. We also have a wonderful parenting conference coming up. It's the Perfectly Imperfect virtual conference that's presented by Christian Parenting, and a portion of those sales benefit Legacy, so we'd love for you to be a part of that. And then later in October, we have a Christmas shopping event at Paper Affair right down the street, and 15% of proceeds will benefit LCA. So we'd love to see you that evening. Virtual Eagle Mama is also coming up, so we can't wait to hear from Jerica Olson. And then last but not least, our November virtual town hall will be on the 4th. So with that, wanted to share with you all some admissions deadlines that we wanted you to be aware of. Sibling and staff children priority deadline is November 6th. So if you have siblings that you'd like to enroll at Legacy, or if you are a staff member with children that you'd like to enroll, get those applications in. And also, I mentioned this earlier, but we have a Zoom at noon with our admissions team. If you have folks in your network that are interested in connecting with our admissions team, interested in enrollment, we have a variety of opportunities for them to connect with us, and one of which is our Zoom at noon. So we'd love for you to sign up. So next up, we're very excited. Homecoming is on. It's happening. We're thrilled. So next week will be a big week. And you can see the schedule here. I'm not going to go over it. It's also in your email that you received from Mr. McGee just about an hour ago. So please do check that out. Spirit Shop, if you need some spirit gear for homecoming week, please do place those orders and visit us online for your shopping needs for all things LCA. And then also as a reminder, if you have not yet downloaded the app, we encourage you to do so. And here is the password to log in. So with that, I am turning things over to our head of school, Mr. Bill McGee, for an opening prayer and welcome.
Well, hey, Legacy community, it's great to be with you. It's great to be in my own office. I've been absent for the last 3 weeks, and first of all, I want to just thank you all for your prayers and meals and expressions of support and concern and encouragement through your cards and your well wishes. I really appreciate, Jan and I both appreciate the Legacy community even more as I've convalesced from my surgery. But I can tell you, I was even excited to put on a tie this morning. It was just fun to be back in school and see the students and faculty and staff at work, and I feel like I'm where I need to be. So again, thank you for your patience as I convalesced, and all things are going right on schedule for my recovery. I feel terrific. I'm pain-free for the first time in about 10 months. And so I'm very, very thankful. So with that, I want to open our town hall with a word of prayer. And so if you would bow with me, please. Our Father, I am thankful for this day and this time together with our friends on our faculty, on our staff, in our parent body, and all those who have chosen to gather in your name, even virtually, even on this town hall meeting where we share important information with one another. Father, we do gather in a spirit of gratitude for your loving providence over our school. We're thankful that we've been spared a serious illness, that there's been a minimal number of students and staff affected by this virus. And we don't take that for granted, Father. We know that it is your loving hand that is protecting us on a daily basis. And so for that, we praise you and give you thanks. Father, I'm thankful that for just the outstanding educators that show up every day to serve our students, who work hard during the day and in the off hours to provide the very best education possible. Father, I'm just in awe of their dedication. I am honored and humbled to be a part of this community and to see these dedicated Christian leaders practice their craft. And so, Father, I just ask that you bless them, that you give them rest, that you continue to encourage them, and that you help them be encouraged by the meaningful work they're doing on a daily basis. Father, I ask that this time together be one that be a time of enlightenment, that questions would be answered, anxieties would be lessened, and we would all enter this time in a spirit of grace and peace. And I pray all these things in your Son's name and for his sake. Amen. All right. Well, with that, I want to turn this back over to Shannon. She's got several other announcements regarding our upcoming annual funds. Shannon?
Great. Thank you, Mr. McGee. All right. Well, y'all, I'm so excited to come to you today to talk a little bit more about this year's annual fund, which, as you know, we've renamed our Stronger Together Fund. So we will continue under that banner. And I am so proud to announce that we have reached 100% participation across two very important groups. So our faculty and staff have given at 100% participation, and they've given over $25,000, which is just really tremendous and fantastic. Secondly, our board of trustees, a group of parent leaders, they have come together and they have donated $460,000 cumulatively, along with 100% participation. So if you're doing the math, that's right about $500,000, which is just tremendous. And it shows the true spirit of our community, that we do lock arms and we move through challenges together, and we support each other in times of need. So I wanted to quickly update you and make sure that we all understand the purpose of our annual fund. When we talk about it, what does it mean? So tuition, we all understand tuition. We make those payments. Those are mission critical funds. So that's everything that our LCA students need to receive an excellent education. Those are budgeted funds. Our annual fund, it's enrichments and enhancements. So it's experiences above and beyond what can be provided by tuition alone. So you can see a list of items that we are proud of, that we've funded in the past. And the first one that I want to point out to you is that last year, we released over $950,000 in tuition assistance. Much of that was due to the annual fund. And so when you think back to last year, you think back to the challenges that we had and that we continue to have with this pandemic. Our annual fund allowed us to stay together as a community. It allowed many of our friends, many of our students to stay enrolled and to continue their education here at Legacy. This is tremendously important. So if you have a heart for this school, we ask that you give. We ask that you give generously, and we ask that you are prayerful in that giving, so that we can continue on together. So with that, I would love to invite our board chairman, Mr. Brad Brenneman, to talk just a bit more about the annual fund from his perspective.
Thank you, Shannon, and hello everyone in the Legacy community. First of all, I'd like to extend some big thanks to our faculty and staff, administrators, everyone for tremendous leadership, a great start to the school year. I think I speak on behalf of all the parents in saying we're very grateful to be opened up And we're very grateful that we've done it safely and well. And so thank you all for your sacrifices, and thank you all for digging deeply and sacrificing for the annual fund as well. 100% participation from faculty and staff is awesome. Thank you also to the parents on this line, for many of you have supported LCA and the annual fund over the past several years. And my wife Leanne and I are very grateful to be partners with you in helping our kids have a life-changing opportunity at Legacy. So thanks so much. Just a little context from the trustees' perspective. Since Mr. McGee started at LCA, a top priority has been funding our continued improvements, added programming, as Shannon said, enhancements and enrichments, and our growth as a school. And it's important for people to understand no private school, LCA included, can achieve improvements and growth and enhancements on tuition alone. It just doesn't happen. And so the reality is Spanish immersion, professional schools, support and professional development for our faculty and staff, improvements to fine arts and athletics, all the things you saw listed on the prior slide and more. And very importantly, all the needs-based support for our families, particularly during these times, would not happen, just can't happen on tuition alone. It really does happen through the annual fund. Our peer schools have similar funds. Bottom line, it's just essential to our growth and so and health. So it couldn't be more important than now to be a part of the annual fund. I will say specifically to COVID this year that we frankly wouldn't have had the funds without digging deep into cash reserves to open up this year without it. You know, in terms of the funds to support technology upgrades, additional faculty, all the things we have to do and have had to do this year, the annual fund has played a vital role in it. So thank you once again for being a part of it. And I'll just wrap up with the big ask, I guess. Please devote time to praying about your participation in this year's annual fund. Please seek God's wisdom and his direction. And then once you have it, please join us and take the leap of faith wherever he leads you to commit the annual fund. By doing so, you help everyone have this experience of LCA. You help us to continue to improve LCA, and we're just very grateful for the opportunity to do that. So thanks so much again for your support. And as the theme on the page says, every gift, every family, every year. The goal is, no matter whether it's $50 or whatever gift you decide is appropriate for your family, participating is the goal. And so please leap in and prayerfully consider that. Thank you so much. And I will turn it back to Shannon or Bill, I guess.
Yeah. Well, thank you, Brad, for that explanation and appeal to support our annual fund. I just want to add something to that. You know, I'm so proud that our faculty and staff stepped up for the third year in a row and are supporting this fund at 100%. I mean, these worthy servants give their time and talent and even their treasure to benefit your children. So that is to be commended. And I want to challenge you parents to match that level of participation. If 100% of our teachers and administrators can give to the school, so can 100% of our parents. And I would ask that you consider joining my wife, Jana, and me and making the school a top priority in your giving. For us, it's number 2 behind our church. And we just believe that strongly in Christian education. So again, thank you all for your prayerful consideration and for supporting our Stronger Together Fund. With that, I want to turn it over to our division principals who will share with you a progress report of what's going on in their division regarding our educational plans this year and some changes that we've already instituted or are about to institute. And so first up, I want to welcome Miss Tiffany McCullum, our lower school principal. Tiffany, what's going on in the lower school now?
Well, good evening, parents, and thank you for joining us. And things are going very well in lower school. And, your children are just adjusting so well. They're wearing their masks when they need to, and they're getting a lot of breaks from their masks during the day. We're getting them outside for fresh air and going to specials. In fact, our library, you probably have noticed, has even recently opened up. So anyway, we're, everything's just going wonderful in lower school. So coming up in my division, we have Parent Conference Day coming up on Monday, October 26th. And your child's teacher will be setting up Zoom times with you to conference with you and give you a progress report of your child for the first quarter. And also just a reminder that students in lower school do not come to school that day. So our teachers will be on campus to Zoom with you at home. So anyway, the next thing I want to share with you is chapel. And first of all, a big thank you to Mrs. Carrie Thompson and Mr. Nick Rhodes for pulling together our chapel video every week that our students are watching from their classrooms. Anyway, currently we are working our way through the life of Daniel, who is a person in the Bible that has nothing negative said about him. He is a great example of true godly character. And the students have been exercising their deep thinking by coming up with character traits they see in Daniel's life that stand out to them as traits that they would like to possess too. We are comparing and contrasting what students in other classes listed as key character traits in Daniel's life as compared to what their class came up with as a key list. Our next step is to have students build a key lower school character trait list. And they will take ownership because they are choosing the traits that they see as most important in Daniel's life and in their lives too. Anyway, we also are having some amazing praise and worship time with Mr. Rhodes in our chapel. We're focusing on a Bible verse to hide in our hearts, and the students are just loving this time each and every Wednesday. So next week is a big week at LCA. It's our homecoming week, and nothing is more exciting with lower school students than these fun dress-up days that we have. So anyway, you probably have seen in my weekly email the different dress-up days next week. And one thing that we do ask parents is that there are no weapons that are brought to school that go along with the costumes. I know in years past we've seen that on occasion, but anyway, if you could be mindful of not sending those with your children if it goes along with their dress-up costume. And yes, lower school parents are welcome to attend the parade and pep rally. We would love to have you there to cheer on our mighty Eagles and walk the parade route with us. But one thing we do ask that is when we come to the stadium for the pep rally, that students and teachers only are on the football field where we will be seated. Parents will be allowed to watch from outside of the fence that surrounds the field. But anyway, we would love to have you join us and bring your noisemakers, and we'll have a great time. The next thing coming up in lower school is the talent show for this year. The lower school talent show is going virtual this year. And next week in my principal email, you will see dates and registration information about this talent show coming up. And also on another note with this, Mr. Rhodes is giving out 3 SOAR tickets for all entries. And as parents, as you know, these SOAR tickets are like gold here in lower school. So anyway, we hope that that will motivate your child to submit an entry with us. But anyway, be on the lookout for more information next Thursday in my weekly email. But anyway, parents, I thank you for your support, your encouragement. I am here for you to visit with you anytime, but your children are doing great. They're so happy when I see them each and every day, and just smiles on their faces when they have their mask off, and when they're on, you can just see the glow in their eyes that they're just happy to be on campus. And I think the lower school teachers and I are just grateful to be on campus. Every day we're here is a gift. So anyway, thank you for your support. And now I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Adam Housley.
Well, thank you, Tiffany. I've been watching the chat and I have not seen any questions come in for you, but luckily for you, I prepared two. I think they're very important questions. Number one is, who's your favorite neighbor, your office neighbor?
That would be you, Mr. Housley.
That's a good answer. And then who is your pick for OU Texas?
Texas, hook 'em
Okay.
horns.
All right, that's what I was afraid of. So with that, we're going to move right on. With that, we're going to move right on to Dr. Joy Bell. Dr. Bell.
Hi, everyone. It is so great to be here. This has been a great start to the year. You guys have been so welcoming to me and sending so many notes, and our family has felt very welcomed here at Legacy. So it's been a great start. I am having a great time with these middle schoolers. You know, I often am told you have to be a special principal to love the middle, and I love the middle. Every morning we start off together with Zoom announcements. So I sort of Zoom into classrooms and celebrate birthdays and give scriptures with them. Also, we have our pledges together. So we have a great start to every day together. It's been a wonderful beginning of this school year. So it's been great. I want to share a couple of things with you. Very similarly to the lower school, we also this year have October 26th, the Parent Conference Day. There's no school for 5th through 8th graders. So if you bring them, there won't be anyone in the car line to receive them. And we don't want you to get your feelings hurt with that. We're going to be in our classrooms that day, teachers. I will also be there with them. If you have any sorts of needs or you want to talk with your child's teacher or team, then they've already reached out to you to set up times to conference via Zoom. And so please reach out to them. We have some breaking news for lunch. We will begin next Tuesday having lunch in the cafeteria. By grade levels, we will follow the upper schools model of the different partitions on the table. So we've already worked all of those details out, so we will get together safely. One of the questions that you may have is, will your child have lunch every day in the cafeteria? At this time, they will not, but right now they're eating in their classrooms. So when they go to the cafeteria at this point, they will be able to mix with their friends that they've been missing all year, which is so very important to us to not only meet their academic needs, but also their social and emotional needs. And so this is one way that we're beginning sort of baby steps to that process. So that will begin on Tuesday, and you will receive a communication from me tomorrow in the newsletter about that. But I wanted to just share that we're so excited about that process. The students are, and also the teachers as well. So that's what's happening with that. Also, you'll receive a communication from me via RenWeb about pre-ordering in that process that will change a little bit. And so that'll come, expect that from me if you've been pre-ordering, because now we can actually just go through the line as we did last year. And so we can take out some of that, or some of your kiddos who may miss their lunch and didn't pre-order. So we have a lot of different things that will be solved by this new process. Again, remembering that we are following COVID-19 policies. We are not abandoning Mr. McGee's commitment and the school's commitment to safety. We're just expanding the opportunity for our students to have some social emotional relief during this time. We also, and we've had all year, recess. My 8th graders don't like me to call it recess because that's a baby term for them. So for the 8th graders and 7th graders, we call it instructional breaks. I want to give you some guidance again how that's happening. Students are going outside. They are masked when they leave the building. They are masked when they return. Their masks are off when they're outside, because the research and the data support that there's less concern when we're outside in the open air. But we're still, again, following the COVID-19 expectations that Mr. McGee has laid out for the community. We're not playing contact sports that are really close together, a lot of dodgeball happening, just a lot of conversations, again, giving them time together. We have split up the 7th and 8th grade. 7th and 8th grade have study hall every day. And so we're now taking 20 minutes of that 80-minute block to get them outside and get them an instructional break, and just to break out of the classroom. So that's been working really well. 5th and 6th grade, we have their break. We can say recess for them. For recess for 5th and 6th grade during their lunch time. So they go outside and then later they have their lunch. And so that's helped us to reduce the volume of students together. We have 268 students in the middle school. So we found another way to continue recess breaks and also follow the guidelines that Mr. McGee has laid out. You received a communication from me last week, but you also received a communication last year as it relates to the universal drug testing that's happened, that's already occurred in the upper school successfully. And so we also will begin that this year. All 7th and 8th grade students will be included in a random sample. We're going to test 30 students in the fall and 30 students in the spring. That will happen later this month. Students will give a hair sample in the month of October and again in the spring. While we do not expect students to test positive, we do have a redemptive path that will be offered. So our students will have an opportunity in the middle school. If for some reason there's a positive test, they will meet with the assistant principal and our counselor and the parents and the parents as well. And we will have a redemptive path for them for that. All students in the random group will be screened for the following drugs. And I do have a doctorate, but I am not a physician, so I will not attempt all of these names on during this public forum. But you can see those there. You could also see the panel and the additional areas that we will be testing for. Testing is for within a 90-day window. And so that sample, that hair sample will detect out of balance amounts and dosages of drugs within a 90-day range. So that's the answer to that. I see a question. It says, will we be notified if our child is selected? You will not be notified because that takes the random piece. But if you have concerns about your child being tested alone, please reach out to Nurse Detloff and she will be able to support you with some options in that manner. Ms. Tapp, I saw your email. Okay. Any other questions? Mr. Housley, back to you. And just in case you're going to ask me a football question, LSU Tigers is the answer.
I don't know that the questions I have to ask about that are fit for this forum. So I'll stick to the script here. Another question that was asked about drug testing was, how will the random drug testing take place? Is there a communication plan? You kind of touched on that with Ms. Tapp's question, but I wanted to ask it more generally.
I'd be more than happy to answer that. We have a randomized system. So student numbers, their ID numbers, not their names, are put into a little system that we have, and whatever numbers are given back to us are the students. So we're not selecting students knowingly by name. It really is a random process that my assistant supports me with. And then those names are provided then to Nurse Angie, and then the process will continue. On the day of the testing, we will go and personally get the student. Again, we're recognizing that for some students, this may cause a little concern. And so we're going to be very careful in how we get them from their classrooms. We will privately take them into a private suite in the middle school suite to get their sample. The two nurses, Nurse Lester and Nurse Angie, will be here to support us in that process.
All right. And you mentioned the number of students. I think you said 30 students. Is that per grade or is that total?
That is in total. So 30 students out of the total that we have for the 7th and 8th grade students. Okay. So we have about 79 7th graders, about 91, 92 8th graders. So 30 out of those will be selected.
Thank you. A lunch question for you. Can students sit with their friends in different grades during lunch?
They cannot sit with their friends in different grades because we won't mix the grades. So 8th grade will have one day, 5th grade will have another day, 6th grade will have another day, and so on. They will be able to sit with their 8th grade friends or their 7th grade friends. So right now at this initial level, we are only introducing grade level lunches.
Okay, so in the recess, not recess time, can you talk about what type of recreational sports students are allowed to play during this time?
Yes, non-contact sports. Again, we are managing 268 students. So again, the research and the data support outside, and we have a reduced level of concern, but there still is a concern. So we want to ensure that we're following at a level orange Mr. McGee's outlined for the COVID-19 and the health team's recommendations. So games such as dodgeball, again, there's a lot of talking, believe it or not. The middle schoolers want to talk to each other. The boys want to talk with each other. The girls want to talk with each other. So sometimes they play those games that, again, dodgeball is one of the things that we do. We're not playing basketball. We're not playing in the Gaga pit. Those kinds of different things that have a lot of sweat involved, a lot of close contact. And that's been working really well for us. And we're going to continue that model.
All right. Last question for you, Dr. Bell. Can you clarify pickup times? I believe this is pertaining to 5th and 6th grade. The child says 3:15, but the parent says 3:30.
Yeah, pickup times, we normally start immediately following lower school. And now that we have a great, some data to support what we're doing, about 3:25 is when we begin calling those cars down. And then we start calling the names of the students. So that's our pickup beginning process immediately following. We don't want parents to have to wait in line another 15 minutes. So typically we have a long line waiting at that time. So we just begin calling students' names.
Okay, thank you so much, Dr. Bell. And with that, we will head on over to the upper school with Mr. Mosley.
Thank you, Adam. It's good to see, not see, but hear everybody. Know you're out there in chat world doing the things virtually we do, be on yet another town hall. So I do have a few things I want to briefly update you on. One is obviously athletics. So we do have some challenges with COVID-19 with regard to athletics and seating and spacing. And our athletic department has done an amazing job using a new ticketing system. And while we're working through that, we have our first home game this Friday, which was an ad, by the way. We originally had 2 home games, not counting the Star. But this one has been added due to a cancellation. And so we've picked up a team from San Antonio, a Cornerstone Christian, a highly ranked team, a strong team coming into play here on this Friday night. So if you happen to have season tickets for that, I want to clarify that does not apply to this game. You need to purchase a ticket because that was not how that was originally laid out. So, but we do have ticketing options. There's available online. You can get that on our website, and it is limited. We do provide prioritization for family members of participants, i.e. band, cheerleader, and football players. So we do have some prioritization there. But outside of that, there are general admission tickets. There are general admission tickets, some for students as well. And then we have some overflow areas that we can tap into. We're doing the best we can. We did move from 40 to 50% capacity recently. So that has helped some as well. So go and get those tickets. We'd love to have you come out and support the Eagles, but you do need to plan ahead to do that. Also, there will be some changes when you get there. You need to find a certain place to sit. Those are marked on the bleachers. You need to sit in your pods. You need to wear masks as you're getting there. You're allowed to take your mask off when you're seated or if you're eating, enjoying something from the concession stand. Otherwise, if you're up and about, you need to have the mask on. We'll take temperature checks. You must have a digital code to get in. It is very limited. You just can't show up that night. You have to have purchased a ticket in advance. And if you say, well, I'd love to come, but I don't have a ticket, can I still see it? And the answer is yes. All of our games are live streamed. You can find that on the website as well. The link to view those are free of charge. You can see those online and watch the game. And a lot of you I know out there are enjoying that feature. I've also been doing, we completed ACT testing yesterday for all of our upper school students. We did for 9 through 12. And this Saturday, we're hosting the PSAT. We have over 60 students taking that test here at Legacy. So it's a tremendous advantage for our students to be able to do these college entrance tests on our campus. We also have a date in March, on March the 2nd. And if you have a 10th grader, that's the first date, actually before the national dates, that you can take the test for record. So if you're your first time a 10th grader can take it, and we recommend you take it multiple times. So you can sign up to take that at Legacy on March the 2nd as well. Drug testing update. So you heard Dr. Bell talk about that over in the middle school. And let me just give you a word of encouragement here. It is a new policy this year. We tested everyone here in the upper school, and we're testing all of our faculty as well. Ours went very, very smoothly. And we've gotten really good at it. We hire professionals to come in and help, or our nurses are very well trained as well. It's gone very, very well. We had a 1.75% positivity rate in the upper school. That's grades 9 through 12. Just so you know, the usage rate for alcohol and drugs in America right now is 30 to 38% among teenagers. So to know, we can tell you, we can't say we're 100% drug free, but we're as close as you can get, and accountability is very high. And I really want to commend our board and the leadership of Mr. McGee in helping us implement this program. It's gone very well. And some would say in the upper school, you do that one time and you're done. And the answer is no. We will do 2 random samples as well during the year. So, and it's a 90-day window of accountability. So, so I want you to know that 1.75% is a really good rate. The average here in Texas among sister schools like us is about 1.8, 1.9%. So we're doing very, very well, and we're working with those families redemptively, and they were very, very appreciative to be in the know about what their kids are facing these days. And lastly, homecoming. You heard us mention that. So yes, we're still doing homecoming, and we're moving forward. Things are a little bit different, but not much. The 2 biggest things that we're going to need your help on outside of the game attendance challenges that we have. The 2 other things are we are not able to do at this time a homecoming dance. I know that is very disappointing, particularly for our ladies. They really look forward to that. It's about the only time they get these guys to ask them out on a date, and I get it, so they really enjoy having that. And so, look, we don't want to take that away, but it's just not safe at this point in time. And I have been to our dances, and I know. I mean, the very nature of a dance requires you to be inside of 6 feet. So we have to work with this a little bit. We're going to postpone it. We're not canceling it. We're going to postpone it to a later time in the year, and we hope things will improve. We'll be able to do that. So that's one thing. The second thing is when you come to the parade, we want you to be here, want you to be a part of it. You need to wear a mask. Okay, even though we're outdoors, because we get kind of really close in all these walking down and passing by. So we're asking that you wear a mask during that time. We're also changed that we will do the coronation ceremony at the pep rally after the parade. So because of the ticketing situation and people wanting to come that maybe don't want to come to the game, et cetera, things, we feel like this is great. Our students were super excited that we're doing it there, and everybody was going to get to be a part of it. So that is a change that will take place right after the parade. We'll do the coronation ceremony followed by the pep rally, and you are welcome to attend. That's all I have. Adam, any questions?
Yes, I do have just a few questions for you. Let me get them up here. First question, when will general admission tickets go on sale for the football game on Friday?
Those open up. Those will open up. I think it's just about 12 hours or so before. So I think it's Thursday night, first thing Friday morning, somewhere in that time frame. So that's when those general admissions will open up. So be ready to go Thursday night to purchase those tickets.
Okay. A question has come up a couple of times. Can you reconfirm the PSAT date?
Yeah, I think I misspoke. It's not this weekend. It's the weekend of homecoming. So it is actually the Saturday after the game. That's that's another reason why we didn't do a special activity that we're doing instead of homecoming dance. We didn't do it on Saturday night because of Friday night because of testing on Saturday morning. So yeah, I stand corrected. I think it's the 16th or 17th, whatever that date is.
Yes, October 17th. Perfect. Okay, I think that's it. So with that, we will turn it back over to Mr. McGee with some COVID policy updates.
All right, thank you, Adam, and thank you, principals, for those informative updates on what's going on in our divisions. As you can see, as much as possible, we're trying to keep our school operations as normal as we possibly can while we still ensure the health and safety of our community. I found out today, I didn't know this, Shannon Nelson actually sent me a couple of articles that, in Frisco ISD, only about half of the students are actually on campus right now. And beginning next week or the week following, I think just over half will be on campus. So I feel very blessed that we're in a school where 95%, actually more than 95% of our students are meeting in person. And so that's a real blessing and a real, I think, testament to all concerned about, what we've been able to do to open our doors and keep them open. Also found out that an elementary school in Prosper is shut down this week because of high infection rate. And so one of the things I wanted to share with you is, the modalities that you've seen numerous times at the different levels, level 1 through 4, and they're color coded. And currently we're in level 3. But I want to tell you that we are trending towards level 2. And I think our face mask breaks that we've instituted in grades 5 through 12 is an indication of that. The fact that middle school will now be able to go to the cafeteria for their lunches. So we're slowly but surely pulling back some of our restrictions, and it very well could be in the next few weeks that we ended up in level 2. But those lines that separate level 2 and level 3 are not definitive. I mean, they're a little fuzzy as well. So we may still institute some restrictions in level 3 as we trend towards level 2. So I'm often asked, this question is, well, who determines the levels? And I've answered that before, but I'll answer it again. The senior leadership team of our school makes the final determination based on the data that we have available to us, recommendations from the CDC, recommendations from the from other health officials, and of course any government officials that have authority over us. So it's a combination of data and information that we use to determine our levels. So the other question I'm asked quite often is, well, who's on the health and wellness committee, which is one of our crisis management teams? And I have shared that information as well, but I want you to know we have, first of all, it's chaired by our Director of Health Services, Angie Detloff. She's the point person and the lead in those meetings, but there are 2 LCA parents who are physicians. Dr. Judy Lee, who is a local pediatrician, works for Children's Medical, as well as Dr. Kang Tran, who works with Baylor Scott and White. Both of these doctors have volunteered their time to meet with us regularly to assess where we are in the pandemic. In fact, we had a meeting just this morning at 8 o'clock this morning with the group. And one of the questions we asked the doctors is, help us know what the trends are. What are you seeing out there on the front line regarding the level of infections in this area? And so that information is very important to us as we determine what protocols should remain in place or we should adopt to ensure the safety of our community. Also on that committee is Jenna Snyder, who is our Director of Counseling, and she represents kind of the mental and emotional well-being of our students, and she shares with us kind of that state of where our students are in handling the stress and anxiety that they may be under. And this morning we had all 3 principals on the call as well, because we want to make sure that the principals are well informed of what's going on, not just within the school, but also in our immediate community, and so our surrounding community. So I say all that just to help you understand how we determine which modality we're currently in. And again, we are a level 3 trending towards level 2, and Lord willing, we'll be in level 2 soon, and we'll be able to remove some of the other restrictions. But I will tell you, parents, if you're worried that we're kind of backsliding here, we will not make those decisions without clear evidence that we're not putting our students in greater harm's way, our students and teachers. So anyway, I wanted to share those with you, and I want to then now call on Mr. Mosley to share a decision tree that may be helpful. So this actually is something we're constantly refining how we communicate and how you as parents know what to do if you have a suspected case in your family or with your child. So Kevin, why don't you share with us this latest decision tree?
Sure. Thank you, Mr. McGee. So if you're looking at this decision tree with us, which I assume you can see it on your screen, I will draw your attention to the first 4 boxes at the top. These are basic 4 situations that, 99% of what's going to happen regarding COVID, if you're with your family, will fall on one of these 4. And I like to talk first about the 3 that are on the right, because they're the most simple. If you see those boxes, a positive COVID test, or if you are in close contact with someone who is positive, or if someone in your household, which would be close contact, obviously, with someone who is positive. So this is all dealing with positive situations that have been confirmed. If you're positive, you'll see the first thing that you do in all these situations is fill out the form. This is important. This form that we have online, the COVID reporting form, it triggers a lot of things, and it's very important. We'll talk about it a little bit more in a minute, but it's important that you do that first. If you are COVID positive, it's pretty simple. You have 10 days that you have to be out, and if your symptoms are fine, you're symptom free after that, symptoms have improved, you're good to come back, and all of that is handled through the nurse's office, and that form handles those notifications and conversations and things like that. If you're close contact traced with someone or have someone in your home, you're looking at a 14-day quarantine, regardless of testing or anything else. It's just 14 days. You're going to be out 14 days. That's why we have Flex. You move in. If you can do schoolwork or those type of things, you just do it from home. We'll move you into Flex for that amount of time, and as soon as those 14-day quarantine's over, you can come back, assuming that you don't get positive. If you do positive, you've got to go back to the to a 10-day from that point. So that's really pretty cut and dry. Now it's a little bit more challenging. You see that a more complicated tree on the left there. If what happens if we have some symptoms, I'm not sure what they are. Well, the first thing I'm going to ask, are these new symptoms for you or not? Is this new? Do you always get allergies this time of year? Is it just allergies? Or just, so you got to begin asking those questions. If it's not new to you, you've had allergies all this time, then you're okay. No action is required. Keep coming to school. But if it's something that's new, it's something that you're concerned about, then we ask you to get with your physician. Okay. And then a physician then will check your file. They know your student. They know your family. If they know, well, you get this every time of year. Ragweed always gets you. This is consistent. If the doctor has concerns, they'll get you tested. Okay, they'll do those things. But if they say, look, you don't have, I can't tell you that you don't have COVID. You may have COVID. Well, then you're in a situation where you got to have a 5-day quarantine and go get a test. And you don't want to do a test any sooner than 5 days after the symptoms appear, because at that point in time, you don't know if the test is going to be valid. So if your doctor can't rule that out, then you're going to have to do a 5-day quarantine and get a test. Okay. And then based on what that test is, whether it's negative, you can upload the negative test after 5 days and come back to school. If it's positive, then you move into your 10-day quarantine. Now, what if the doctor says this person has allergies, they're not presenting any other things, everything is fine? If they'll write a note confirming that it's not COVID, then you can come back to school, but you have to upload that through the form and submit it. So you can see this is kind of the most complicated case, is when you have symptoms, you don't really know what to do about it. All the positives, or if I'm contact traced or someone in my family is positive, that one's pretty cut and dry. And if you get confused, you're certainly welcome to reach out to the nurse to help you kind of walk through that. But this decision tree should be very helpful, and I want to thank the communications department for doing a great job kind of narrowing this down for us a little bit. So I hope it's helpful. So looking here at some, again, these reporting form that we have, if you have any of these 4 cases we talked about, fill out that form. It's very, very important. It starts this automatic reporting. It is a first step in many steps, and it automates a lot. It lets nurse know. It lets principals know. It starts everything. It gives confirmations back to you about what next steps are. So this is very important, and we like for you to make this form your first go thing to do, because it's going to really keep Nurse Angie from just getting tons and tons of emails and tons of questions. So if you'll do this, it triggers a lot of things, and the nurse will be in touch. We'll confirm everything with you, but it will get all of those things started, okay? It provides us with the information we need. And again, I want to emphasize, please don't just bombard Nurse Angie. If we got this form here, that's that first step, and it will help us get the ball rolling. Okay, yes, there is a new mask break policy. This is kind of that movement toward level 2, in that we are providing in grades 5 through 12 a 10 to 15 minute, at least 10 to 15 minutes, no more than 10 or 15 minutes during the class period. And during that time, we're not talking. Students have to be seated. They can't be walking around. So all of our rooms have 6 feet or more distance. So they have to be seated. It's during an independent work time, or they're taking a quiz or something like that, where there's no talking going on. So we feel it's as safe as you can be within reason. And there's always misgregation. We know that we're taking a risk just by opening up. So we're trying to balance that and the health and well-being of our students. We need some breaks with regard to social and emotional health as well. Our doctors on our committee approved this as a step in that direction, and we're going to monitor it closely. Up to now, it's working just great. Our students are very grateful for it. A teacher can open the window. A teacher can also take their classes outside during that time if they would like. And it may be on a rare occasion, like if it's a long lab or something like that, where the mask break would not be needed in a certain class every once in a while, or not able to do. But most of the time, we're doing this, and it's been very well received, and we're monitoring it closely. So here is, if you have questions, you can always email questions about anything to questions@legacyca.com. We'll get back with you as soon as we can. This is the current dashboard. You can always view that. It is password coded. You can see, and the password is there for a 2021 parent. And it will give you the latest update. It's updated weekly, our numbers, as you can see right there. So that's a great reference for you. Okay, Adam, any questions for us on this?
At this time, Mr. Mosley, I do not have any questions. So
that's
great
because I
job.
did an amazing job. That's why.
It is. Whoever did that decision tree did a really good job.
I know that decision tree guy or girl. I don't know who that was. I don't know who's getting credit for that.
Well, before we move on, are there any other questions, any lingering questions? I'm not seeing anything in the chat. You guys are a quiet group tonight. So why don't we do this, Mr. Mosley? Do you want to go ahead and close us in prayer? And if any questions come in,
You can hit me at the end. Yeah, that'd be great. Let's pray together. Thank you, Adam. Father, we're grateful for this place, Legacy, your place, Father, that you began over 20 years ago. And Father, I'm grateful personally for the opportunity I have to be a part of this amazing community. Thank you for every family, for every teacher, every board member, every administrator, every child that makes up this community. Father, we continue to pray for your safety and protection on us. We continue to pray for wisdom. And we pray, Father, for strength and courage as we continue to fulfill the calling that you have on all of our lives. And Father, we're here to help students learn about you, to learn about your truth and these principles that will guide them throughout their life so they can live a life that glorifies you each and every day. We're grateful today, God, for your goodness and your mercy in our lives and your provision. In Jesus' name I pray. Amen.
Amen. Okay, I do not see any more questions. So with that, we'll turn it over to Shannon.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Mosley. Thank you, Adam. And just a few quick reminders. Save the date up on your screen. Please take a look and make sure that those dates are marked in your calendar. They're also in your email, so be sure to go check your email and grab those dates. our resource guide here for everything that you may need in terms of any resources or questions that you may have. And lastly, follow us on social media. We'd love to have you join us. And it's a beautiful thing to have the last word. So I will say Boomer Sooner and God bless. Y'all have a great night. We'll see you next month.